Okay, fast forward on the Toyota, and it's on the ground. We got springs on it. They're definitely not right, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Check this out. It's a little undersprung.
Hey, what's up, Brite Nation?
So today we're gonna work on a couple of personal projects. I have my brother's Toyota in the shop, and I'll give you a walk around in that in a little bit. And back here,
I am also working on a personal project, but it is for my parents, seeing as Christmas is like coming up real quick. Like this has got to get done. Like
right
today.
now.
Yeah. At first I didn't really know what to get them because my parents are in their mid-60s and they have everything they could possibly want and need.
What do you get your parents? I don't know. Socks? No.
Socks. That's a terrible gift.
I like socks.
Like pink ones?
I wear pink ones.
Actually, you know what? Socks are pretty cool. I bought socks yesterday.
Yeah, you bought socks yesterday.
They're glittery. Anyways, I thought it would be really cool just to make something for my parents, and that way I can do something that's going to be sentimental and special to them, and also I can practice my welding skills, see how well you've taught me.
It's gonna be exciting. I know what you're thinking. Oh man, another Toyota. What happened to all the Jeeps? Well, this Toyota means a little bit more to me than the last one. This one here is my brother's. We built this thing earlier this year, right after King of the Hammers. I built this entire Toyota. We built this entire Toyota, myself and my brother, Nick. We built this thing in 28 days. It came into the house as a stock 4-wheel drive, 1990 Toyota pickup. Took us 28 days. We chopped off all of the front end 4-wheel drive. We chopped off all the 4-wheel drive stuff. We added a Dana 44 straight axle. Come around the back. It's got a Ford 9-inch rear end and it's linked. When we built this, it had some cheesy 16-inch coilovers just to get us by so that we can pick up a bunch of measurements. Just enough to get it going. Well, here it is. Fast forward 9 months later and we have some new goodies. We have 4 16-inch Bilstein coilovers. We waited almost an entire year for these things and they're finally here. So I yanked off all the old shocks and we're gonna check this thing out. Not too shabby. She'll get up there. Honestly, nothing binds. My brother has driven it when it was like this, and yes, it will articulate a lot. It will articulate a lot. It looks pretty rough, but I'll tell you what, it functions. Every single bit of this truck functions. We built this thing with a bunch of scrap parts, and this is what you can do on a budget. We don't have too much money into this. Yeah, that I gotta fix. Front drive shaft angle is a little bit off. But, I mean, come on, guys. This is like 18 inches of down travel. This is ridiculous. Along with the back, it's linked. It actually works. My brother has driven it, and he has wheeled it. But, we're going to change that, too. We're going to raise the rear pinion angle a little bit, try to get some nice drivability out of this thing. But, again, this is a trail rig only. My brother trailers this everywhere. I mean, look at this thing. It's a freaking beast. We put receivers everywhere in the frame. Then we got one up there on top, and it is full exo caged. My brother and I did this earlier this year, right after King of the Hammers. Some people might not like it, but my brother does, and that's all that matters. And she does get it. So the first thing we gotta do is we gotta strip these springs off of here so that we can collapse it out and run it all the way down to full bump so that we can build the brackets, the new brackets for these guys. So that's what we're gonna do now. So after we stripped off all the old suspension and tabs and stuff, one of the first things we have to do now that we're gonna make this a pretty nice trail rig is we have to put these air bumps in the frame so that we don't hurt anything underneath. My brother picked these up from FOA. They're just some off the shelf regular bumps. And they go like this. Look how strong I am. Obviously there's no nitrogen in them right now, but so we're gonna collapse these out We got it down, stuffed down as far as we can get it to go, so there's clearance here, and we're gonna weld it to this frame. And then I'll build a pad on the axle so that we don't crush anything on full bump. We'll get that going first, and then we'll figure out how we're gonna set the coilovers in here. I'm definitely gonna have to redo the top. The old mounts, again, this was built in like 28 days, so this was just real quick and dirty to get it on the ground. But the new mounts are gonna have to be much higher all the way up to the hood, because these bypasses are about 3 inches longer in the body than the old coilovers we had on here. So I'm gonna cut all this off, and I'll make new tabs. They'll be really high and inset real far so that we can go pretty far to the outside of this axle without binding into the tire at full droop and full articulation. That seemed to be a problem, because currently this tab at full droop with the panhard bar on the passenger side, the coil runs into the frame, so we're gonna have to move these out. Yeah, we'll do some geometry in there and we'll get it all figured out the right way. But right now we're gonna put these bumps in here. So now that we got the bump set, we gotta cut these mounts off and these mounts off. So that's what we're gonna do now. So when in doubt, get the 625 out.
Oh, do we have a board? Do you want more stuff to write down? All right, what do you want?
No, it's coming. It'll be here Monday. Shit.
Okay, real quick before those guys come back in here, I wanted to tell you guys the project that I had in mind for my parents' Christmas present. If you guys don't already know, I grew up in Kentucky and my parents still currently live in Kentucky. And Kentucky is known for its acres upon acres of farmland and the horse industry, horse racing. I mean, I grew up right in the middle of it. In Kentucky, there's barns that have these quilts that hang on the outside. They're absolutely gorgeous. I would assume that they are one of a kind and that they're handmade. And I kind of wanted to do something that resembled the look of those farm quilts. So I'm taking a bunch of these geometric shapes and I'm going to weld these together. So it'll be like a ton of these pieces and arranged really pretty. I thought it would be cool to also add hooks to it. So that way it's a, you know, essentially a key holder. So like parents can come through the door and hang their keys up. So I got these hooks off of Etsy that are also handmade. I don't know, I think this is gonna be like a really cool gift for them. This steel is 1.5 inch bar stock that is hot rolled. And because it is hot rolled, there's like this really pretty grain and texture. So I think like there's gonna be a lot going on. Not only like will this be completely fitting for the home in the country, but also sentimental to, you know, where I grew up, and it's also gonna be handmade. So I think my parents are going to love it. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. First things first, Chris made this wonderful jig for me. So that way I can get a perfect cut every time. Perfect. Let me show you how it works. The gloves are too big. That was so sloppy.
We got the old tabs cut out of this thing, and the new Bilstein just kind of sitting in here. It's all the way collapsed, fully collapsed. And it's sitting on the tube down here. And it looks like we're gonna have room. So remember, we're on the bump stop already, so there'll be a pad here. I'll build a pad and gusset all this guy in here. And this guy's sitting on the tube, and it looks like we are gonna clear. So this is awesome. I'm gonna set it in here something like this, so that we have room for this, for the hose and the reservoir. I think I'm just gonna build some flat plates, connect them from here to here on both sides, so it'll be cool looking. And then I'll have to plate them off over the top, make them nice and strong, tie them into both of these tubes. I think it'll look pretty trick when it's done. We have plenty of room. As you can see, there's a lot of room in there. Now we just gotta get some cardboard templates out.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Come look at how beautiful.
Oh, I'm excited. Check this out. That thing's pretty sick.
I love it. And I think my parents are gonna love it too.
How excited are you?
Pretty excited.
I know the story of your life through winter storms and summer skies. There was a time when you were young and free. So let's go back.
Dang, now we just gotta put the hooks on it. How exciting. That thing looks sick. You did a good job.
It's pretty awesome. Hey, Chris. What you making?
Shock mounts. I'm trying to anyway. There it is. One more to go. So with the shocks placed in here, now we get to have fun and we get to go do our CAD drawings so that we can get these parts cut out. So I have CAD drawing number 1. Goes like, right here. And then this one will sit inside of it. And then when that part's done, out comes the final product, straight off the CNC, the Chris table. Yeah, I don't know what to say there, but all right. So after a little bit of finagling, we got these guys in here. Nice shock tower tops. They're just tacked in there. We got them both in. Both Bilsteins are in. The hoses will wrap down and they'll wrap to the back side of this tube somehow. I haven't figured that out yet, but got plenty of room. Look real good in there. Shock tabs are right behind there. Right down here behind there. All right, now we move on to the back. The back is gonna be easy. So these bodies are about anywhere from 3 to 4 inches, somewhere in there, longer than what was in here. So there's a lot of internal stability in these Bilsteins. That hole's gotta go up about 4 inches to sit at ride height again, which is really nice. And I knew this was gonna happen. That's why these plates are super long, because I knew in the future we were gonna change that up. So they're already drilled. They're 4 inches up and drilled, and they'll go down to the link arm. So all I'm gonna do now is cover all this stuff up with fiberglass and a bunch of fire blankets and everything, and I'm just gonna plasma that out because it's too close to the bedside and I can't get the grinder and my face in there at one time, but I can get the plasma cutter in there and just buzz the bottom of this around and up. We'll see how this turns out, that side as well. Now we grind. Lots of it. Just gotta clean that up. There's a little nipple on the bottom, but yeah, it's pretty close. It'll work. And there you have it. Full stuff. Rear's full stuffed on the Bilsteins. 16-inch coilovers. The front can't go as low because of the way the front axle sits. We didn't want to cut the frame, so that's as low as she goes in the front. It's kind of disappointing, but hey, looks like she'll run 40s no problem at some point. Nick. Anyway, there she is. Put the Bilsteins in. Build some brackets through there and hang them on the inside of the bed rail. Okay, fast forward on the Toyota and it's on the ground. We got springs on it. They're definitely not right, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Check this out. It's a little undersprung. We picked up some 300 pounders for the front. We're just gonna change the spring rates around. I think we're 200s in the rear, over 200s in the rear, which I might go up a hair on the lower in the rear, but the fronts are way undersprung. This thing is a jelly roll. All you have to do is hit the brakes and it nosedives. So we're gonna change up some springs right now and see if we can get it to sit a little bit better. Cause she's a little crooked.
Hey y'all, I decided to do a little bit more history on the quilts that are hung on the side of the barns. And I'm really glad that I did because I told you guys that they were actually quilts. Turns out they are not. They are just made out of about any type of plywood and they are painted. And usually they're painted in solid colors, and every now and then you'll come across one that has been painted to look like printed fabric. And they are believed by many to protect the barns and animals that are housed inside from fire and lightning and sickness and the works of evil spirits. It also encourages the right balance of sun and rain for success with the crops. So even though I lived in Kentucky for over 20 years, out in the country, surrounded by thoroughbred horses, around these big beautiful barns, I did not know that they weren't actually quilts. So whoever is making them is doing a great job. All right, Chris has got some tricks up his sleeve, so I'm gonna show you what it is.
So we're gonna try to keep these centered, but how do you keep them centered and then flip the piece over and then spot them from the back? Super glue. So if we spot these in with super glue, they'll stay. We can flip it over and then you can tack it into the holes, and then the super glue really doesn't care at that point because it'll be burned off. But if we spot it in with some super glue and you line this guy up, oh, wash that off. And you line that guy up, let that kick off, and then you can flip it over real gentle. Weld it up.
Giving it a little bit of clear spray, make sure it doesn't rust. I already know some of you guys are wondering why there's a PJ on this. That is because my parents are huge Pearl Jam fans, and since it is for them and it is a strong part of their life, I was like, I'm gonna throw it on there. Why not? So I'm pretty happy with it. I think it turned out great, and I think it's gonna look great in the house with all their other Pearl Jam memorabilia. And it's going to make a great Christmas present.
There it is. She's on the ground. She's got the coilovers on her, got the springs on it. I want to work with spring rates a little bit more, but for the most part, she's on the ground with 16-inch Bilsteins. This thing is nuts. There's a couple more things we want to do, but we're going to work on that later. But for now, it's drivable, and we're going to drive it and see what we need to change and upgrade. My dance moves?
Okay, parents' Christmas present is finished, and
I got my brother's truck back on the ground and drivable.
which means our personal project day is complete. So excited.
And now it's the holidays.
Yes.
Holiday season has arrived.
Favorite season. Yeah, definitely Christmas.
So, Merry Holidays.
Merry Thanksgiving!
We'll see you later, guys. Remember to like and subscribe and share. You can find all of your Lite merch, details,
Stickers.
everything at litebreadstudios.com. We'll see you later. Bye.
See ya. Real quick, you guys, just wanted to clarify, in the last video, at the end, like after the credits,
You know, the
yeah, I do know it was a chicken. I was
He's
just,
from next door. They come over all the time. It was just funny.
do they come up? They don't.
Yep. Jelly usually chases them. And I gobbled at it because we have a lot of turkeys in the yard most of the time. So I said gobble because I was trying to make friends. I don't know. Whatever.
Make friends.
Just to clarify.
Yep,
Bye.
that's it. Bye. Well, I thought you were going first.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah.
So. Okay. Go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up?
What's up, Lite Brite Nation?
We'll do that again. Are you ready?
Can't be
this time?
perfect every time. All right.
That's what we do. You don't like that, no?
No, I don't.
We're gonna leave it. Is that a reindeer? A reindeer? I think it's a reindeer. Okay, go.
These are disgusting.
Yeah,
Let me see if this guy tastes any better.
they're very dry. I give the cookie a 1.
I mean, the decorations are pretty cute. Look at this guy.
That was done with the machine. Had to have been. Presentation. Is
Okay,
it?
yeah. Presentation's good.
Is it 10?
The cookie is trash.